What if I told you the secret to reaching the top of your dreams isn't strength, speed, or even talent, but something far simpler, something anyone can do? This is the story of a mountain, a dream, and a woman who changed her village forever, one stone at a time. Once, in a quiet Chinese village, there stood a towering mountain called Heaven Peak. It was so tall that the clouds often wrapped around its shoulders, as though the sky itself was resting on its peak. For generations, the villagers dreamed of building a temple at the very top, a place where their prayers could rise up to the heavens themselves. But the climb was steep, the path was dangerous. The mountain stood like a giant challenge to anyone who dared. One day, the elders of the village gathered the people and announced, "Whoever can build a staircase to the top will honor not just himself, but every soul in this village." The idea electrified the crowd. There was excitement. There was hope. Finally, someone could make this impossible dream come true. Among the villagers stood Wei, a young man with powerful arms and a voice that roared with confidence. "I will finish faster than anyone," he boasted. The crowd clapped and cheered. Surely, they thought, Wei would be the one. His strength was unmatched, his energy unstoppable. But then, someone else stepped forward. It was an old widow, Grandmother Lin. Her back was bent. Her hands shook with age. The crowd laughed. "Grandmother Lin," they said, "you can hardly carry water from the well. How will you climb a mountain? How will you carry stones?" But Lin simply smiled and whispered, "I will carry 1 stone a day." And so, the work began. Wei rushed up the mountain with massive stones, stacking them quickly, shouting proudly each time he laid one down. The villagers praised his strength and clapped as his staircase began to take shape. Meanwhile, Grandmother Lin tied a single small stone in her cloth, climbed step by slow step, and placed it carefully on the path. At first, Wei's staircase grew fast, higher and higher, while Lin's work seemed so small that nobody noticed. But weeks passed. Wei grew tired. Some mornings he slept in. Other days he said, "I'll do twice the work tomorrow." But tomorrow never came. Soon, his pile of stones lay abandoned at the bottom of the hill. Grandmother Lin, however, never stopped. Under the scorching heat of summer, under the cutting winds of autumn, through the snow of winter, and the heavy rains of spring, she climbed every single day. Her legs trembled, her back ached, but still she said, "Only one more stone, just one today." Days became weeks, weeks became months, months turned into years, and one morning, as the sun rose, the villagers awoke to the sound of a bell ringing from the top of Heaven Peak. They rushed outside and gasped. There it was, a complete staircase carved into the mountain, reaching all the way to the clouds. The dream of the village was no longer a dream, it was real. At the top stood Grandmother Lin, her face glowing with peace. The villagers bowed low before her. "Grandmother Lin," they said, "you are not the strongest, you are not the fastest, but your faithful steps have built us a highway to heaven." And Wei, the strong young man, stood silent in the crowd. In that moment, he understood a lesson he would never forget. Talent without consistency is like thunder without rain, loud, impressive, but unable to feed the earth. From that day on, the staircase was called the Path of Patience. Travelers from distant lands came to walk it, inspired by the tale of the old woman who had built a road to the sky, 1 stone a day. And so, my friends, learn from this story. Greatness is not about bursts of strength or moments of glory. True greatness belongs to those who keep going, those who refuse to quit, those who take even the smallest step forward every single day. Because even the smallest effort, repeated with faith, will one day become a mountain of success. So carry your stone today, carry another tomorrow, and one day, you too will stand on top of your mountain, a mountain built by your perseverance, and the world will look up and call you unstoppable. Remember this, consistency always beats talent. Effort repeated daily is the true road to heaven.